welcome back. I hope you've had a wonderful week so far. So right now my tiny house is a bit of a mess, which is the case more often than not because it is rarely ever IG feed friendly like you guys are probably used to seeing it. So I thought this would be the perfect time to show you my weekly tiny house cleaning routine. So come clean with me. So I get questions every now and then on TikTok and Instagram asking, how long does it take to clean a tiny house? How often do I clean my tiny house? And does my tiny house look like it does in the Instagram pictures all the time? And the short answer to that question is no, it rarely ever looks like it does in the Instagram pictures. In fact, it really only looks like that for about an hour or so after I do these weekly tiny house cleaning routines. It's a tiny space. I have to use the space. So unless I leave, go do things for several hours, if I use the space, if I start reading, if I start working, if I start cooking, then immediately clutter creeps in. Obviously with these smaller spaces, you're going to be cleaning a lot more often than you do in larger spaces like, bigger apartments or larger houses. Holding you and your cleaning tendencies or your cleaning habits constant, you're definitely going to be cleaning a tiny house a lot more often. Though I will say the benefit is that it takes a lot less time to clean. And so that's kind of the big perk of living in a tiny house. Even though I find myself doing dishes every day, even though I find myself cleaning surfaces every day and tidying up basically after any sort of significant activity than I would in a larger space, it takes a lot less effort every time I do that. And I'm actually really content with the way that that plays out and how much time and money that saves me. So with that being said, I break up my tiny house cleaning into 3 different types or 3 different frequencies. I do some daily cleaning, though it's less cleaning and more tidying up after myself, after I work or after I read or after I cook. And that's basically just to keep the space functional for what I'm going to do that day in the house. Second, I do my weekly tiny house cleaning routine, which is what I'm gonna show you guys in 1 second. And then lastly, I try to deep clean about once a month or so. I'll talk to you a little bit about that once we're done cleaning, but let's just get started. So the very first step in cleaning my tiny house is to assess the mess. So I basically just look around at the house and see how big of a mess I have to clean up, try to get an idea of what I need to do. Do I need to do laundry? Do I need to do surface cleaning? Do I need to freshen up? And then that just gives you a really good idea of how long it's gonna take and whether or not I have the time to do it right now at this moment. So step number 2 is laundry, because it has the longest lead time. Those of you who have been following me from the beginning when I first bought this tiny house, you know that I still don't have a washer and dryer in the tiny house. So my tiny house is still parked on my family's land. So what I do once a week, I take my laundry and I do it at their house. That's how we've basically been getting by the last year and a half until I find a permanent property for this tiny house, until I find some land to park it. Then at that point, I will rough in the washer and dryer outlet here at the house, and I will invest in a proper washer and dryer, probably a combo unit, because I don't really have space for it anywhere other than the closet. So until that day comes, we're gonna go take this laundry over there. So all right, so step number 3 is to put stuff away. Now I know this sounds very trivial, but it is imperative, especially in a small space like a tiny house on wheels, that anything that you bring into the house, whether it be clothes, whether it be decor, whether it be something functional that you use every day, like a coffee kettle or a water kettle, a tea kettle, what? That everything has its place where it goes to be stored when you're done using those things. And this will keep your tiny house as functional as it can be for your everyday life. And I think this is the biggest hack in tiny house living, to be the happiest version of yourself when you're living in a tiny house full time. So let's start putting some shit away. right, so step number 4 is to vacuum, and it's probably my favorite thing to do when it comes to cleaning. And so we have our little Dyson vacuum right here. It just happens to be the most satisfying thing to do when it comes to cleaning. It makes this place go from a 0 to like a 7 in like 5 minutes. So let's get started. Then of course, with all the Dyson handheld vacuums, they have all of these cool little attachments so you can get into the corners. This is definitely one of my favorite Dyson products. This is a really old Dyson. I think it's a V7, but they even have V8 all the way up until like V12 or 13 at this point. I feel like this is me with like an iPhone 8. Still rocking the iPhone 8. But yeah, you can probably get one of these for like $200 maybe, and they're retailing new from like $400 to $800, which is just insane. It's probably worth it. I mean, these things will last you a very long time, and I absolutely love this. All right, so now that we're done vacuuming the entire house with this Dyson vacuum, we are going to clean the floors with this hardwood floor cleaner. So I have hardwood floors, and it should be pretty simple. This is definitely one of the easiest steps. Well, once I get this stuff out of here, I use this little cabinet as storage for these cleaning supplies, but I actually feel like I could get a better use out of it if I made like a pull-out pantry, and that's something I've been considering lately. I'm just trying to find some time to actually like measure it out and make sure that it would make sense with this little door and with the available space, but that's what I'm thinking next. So with this cleaner, I'm just gonna spray this hardwood floor cleaner solution in the bathroom, in the kitchen. I'll get started on that side, and then we'll work our way this way. All right, so next up is to clean the kitchen and do some dishes. All right, so next up is the kitchen. I have a ton of dishes to do because I left all my stuff out from breakfast and from making coffee this morning. So first order of business, I'm gonna put all this stuff away, and then I'm going to knock out all of these dishes. So, all right, so we have all the AeroPress stuff in this compact little setup, and there's my coffee bar. So I got this dish drying rack when I first moved in. It's Joseph. I think I got it on Amazon. I'll link it below if you guys are interested. But basically, I store it like this, and then it expands. All right, so now that we've finished the dishes, I'm gonna go ahead and dry these, put these up, and then we are going to surface clean the stainless steel. All right, so now that we got the dishes taken care of, my least favorite part about cleaning the tiny house by far, we are going to clean these stainless steel countertops. So I know a lot of you guys probably use some multi-purpose cleaner or an all-purpose cleaner to clean your marble or your quartz countertops. In this case, because we have this stainless steel, it's really susceptible to like blemishes and scratches and things. I basically follow probably a little less conventional route, and I use some hot water. It's still pretty hot, so I basically just wet this rag and that's how I clean my stainless steel countertops. So that is the stainless steel countertops. Occasionally I will get some dirt that sticks and is a little bit harder to clean with the hot water. If you guys have any recommendations for multi-purpose cleaners that would work for stainless steel countertops or something specific for cleaning stainless steel, let me know in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. I haven't really looked extensively, but if you guys have a product already in mind that you guys use at your house, let me know. I'd really appreciate it. All right guys, so last but not least, we're gonna take the trash out and freshen this place up. So in order to freshen up, I usually have a couple different things that I do. So I spray this Autobahn like disinfectant, fabric and air freshener. So I usually just spray a little bit, not too much, on my couch. Then I take some of this Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day. This is the room freshener non-aerosol, and I'll just spray again kind of around there, maybe up here. And that's pretty much it. This is the honeysuckle scent. It smells awesome. And then lastly, this I don't remember to do all the time, but I have this wooden wick soy blend candle. So this is like a slow burning candle. I just leave it on for like 20-30 minutes a day at most. We'll light this wooden wick. Incredible. I think this is the eucalyptus and palm. I just got this at Target, but I mean, you guys are probably more candle experts than me. That's pretty much it, guys. So that is how I clean my tiny house on a weekly basis. That is my weekly tiny house cleaning routine. Yeah, and then I do a deep clean every 2 to 4 weeks, I'd say. And the only difference is I'll basically kind of bundle up my weekly tiny house cleaning with that deep clean. That way I just do it once. I try to scrub down the walls and the baseboards with hot water and a little bit of dish soap and just really lightly scrub them just to kind of get any nicks and stuff off. I have like the Sherwin-Williams paint. Basically cleans really well. I water all of my plants because I have like low water plants. Plants that don't need a lot of water. So I water them every 3 weeks or so. And then I clean my composting toilet, which is basically just taking out the compost, cleaning the compost toilet. I'm planning on making a separate video for that. So if you guys have any specific questions about that, I guess you could also leave them in the comments below. That's about it. That's how I keep this tiny house clean. It took me about 45 minutes to an hour to clean this. Sometimes it takes a little longer if I have a lot more laundry or if the place is just a total mess. Today wasn't terrible, but this is about usual mess. That's it, guys. That is how I clean my tiny house. So let's get right into it. Whoa.